How do you know if you have erectile dysfunction? Occasionally having difficulty with an erection is normal and can happen because of stress, fatigue, or other temporary factors. However, erectile dysfunction is different. It's a persistent problem that happens repeatedly over time. Now let's look at the most common signs. Difficulty in getting an erection. The first and most common sign of erectile dysfunction is having difficulty getting an erection when you want one. Normally, when you are sexually aroused, your brain sends signals through your nerves to the blood vessels in the penis. These blood vessels relax and widen, allowing more blood to flow into the erectile tissues. As the penis fills with blood, it becomes firm enough for sexual activity. If you are repeatedly unable to achieve an erection despite adequate sexual stimulation, it may be a sign of erectile dysfunction. You may notice that it takes much longer time to become erect, or you may be unable to achieve a firm erection at all. It's important to remember that every man can occasionally have difficulty in getting an erection due to stress, anxiety, fatigue, lack of sleep, alcohol, or temporary illness. A single episode is usually not a cause for concern. However, if this problem occurs frequently or persists for several weeks or months, it shouldn't be ignored. Persistent difficulty in getting an erection may indicate an underlying issue with blood flow, nerve function, hormone levels, or overall health, and it deserves proper evaluation. Difficulty in maintaining an erection. The second most common sign of erectile dysfunction is being able to get an erection, but not being able to maintain it long enough for satisfying sexual activity. A healthy erection depends not only on blood flowing into the penis, but also on keeping that blood trapped inside the erectile tissues until sexual activity is complete. If blood flows out too quickly, or if the nerve signals responsible for maintaining the erection are weakened, the erection may soften or disappear prematurely. You may notice that you start with a firm erection, but lose it before or during intercourse, even though you still have a sexual desire or stimulation. Occasionally losing an erection can happen to any man because of stress, anxiety, fatigue, alcohol, or temporary distractions. By itself, this usually isn't a cause for concern. However, if you regularly struggle to maintain an erection over several weeks or months, it may be a sign of erectile dysfunction. Weaker erections and fewer morning erections. The third sign of erectile dysfunction is noticing that your erections are not as firm as they used to be, or that your morning erections have become less frequent. A healthy erection should be firm enough for satisfactory sexual activity. If your erections are consistently softer, less rigid, or don't last as long as they once did, it may indicate that the system responsible for producing an erection are not functioning optimally. Another important sign is a noticeable decline in morning erections. Most healthy men experience erections during sleep, particularly during the rapid eye movement REM stage, and often wake up with one. These erections are a normal part of male physiology and generally reflect healthy blood flow, nerve function, and hormonal activity. If morning erections become less frequent or disappear over time, especially when combined with weaker erections during sexual activity, it may indicate an underlying problem: reduced sexual confidence and performance. The fourth sign of erectile dysfunction is when erection problems begin affecting your sexual confidence and overall performance. Many men who experience ongoing erection difficulties start worrying that the same thing will happen again. This fear can make them anxious before or during sexual activity, which may further interfere with their ability to achieve or maintain an erection. Over time, some men begin avoiding intimacy altogether because they are afraid of disappointing their partner or feeling embarrassed. Others notice that their erection problems occur more often than not, even when they have sexual desire and adequate stimulation. It's important to understand that persistent erectile dysfunction can affect emotional well being, self confidence, intimate relationships, and overall quality of life. That's why it should never be dismissed as simply getting older or just stress, especially when the problem continues for weeks or months. When to seek medical advice in erectile dysfunction? The fifth and final sign of erectile dysfunction is simple: the problem doesn't go away. If you have been experiencing difficulty in getting an erection maintaining an erection, or consistently weaker erections for several weeks or months. It's time to seek medical advice instead of hoping the problem will resolve on its own. Many men assume erectile dysfunction is just a normal part of aging, but that's not always the case. In many situations, erectile dysfunction is a symptom of an underlying health condition rather than the disease itself. It can sometimes be an early warning sign of conditions such as diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, cardiovascular disease, hormonal imbalances, or nerve disorders. In some men, erection problems appear years before these conditions are diagnosed. Seeking medical advice early can help identify the underlying cause, allowing treatment to begin before more serious complications develop. Depending on the cause, treatment may include lifestyle changes, better management of existing medical conditions, medications, or other therapies recommended by your healthcare provider. If you want a deeper and more structured understanding of this, I have prepared an erectile dysfunction free PDF guide that explains these principles step by step. You can access it anytime through the link provided in the description below.